beneath the streets. I never should have gone down there. That's the first thing I want to say. If you're reading this and thinking about exploring the sewers under New York City for fun, don't. Just don't. It might sound cool, underground tunnels, hidden places, mystery, but it's not. Down there, it's quiet. Too quiet. And sometimes, you're not alone. It started with my friend Ray. He was always into weird places. He liked old buildings, tunnels, anything abandoned or creepy. He called it urban exploring. I thought it was dumb, but it was summer, and I was bored. Plus, our friends Danny and Chris were going, and I didn't want to be the only one left out. Ray had found some old sewer map online. He said there were tunnels under Manhattan that nobody used anymore. They're not even on the city records, he told us, smiling like a kid with a secret. We'll be fine. Just bring a flashlight. We met one afternoon behind an old warehouse near the East River. The place looked like it had been falling apart since the 70s. Rusted fences, broken windows, and garbage everywhere. Ray led us to a metal hatch in the ground, half covered with dirt and weeds. This is it, he said, pulling it open. The smell hit us right away, like rotten eggs and wet trash. I'm not sure about this, Danny said, wrinkling his nose. Ray laughed. Too late to back out now. We all had flashlights. Ray even brought a little radio so we could talk if we got separated. I had a knife in my pocket. Not because I thought we'd run into trouble. I just didn't like how this felt. Something about going underground like that made my stomach twist. We climbed down a metal ladder into the darkness. The tunnel was narrow and damp, with water trickling through a shallow stream in the middle. The walls were covered in slime and mold. Rats scurried in the shadows. The deeper we went, the less we could hear from the city above. After 15 or 20 minutes, it felt like we were in another world. The only sounds were our footsteps and the quiet splash of water. Ray kept pointing out old markings on the walls. Danny and Chris were joking around, trying to pretend they weren't nervous. I stayed quiet. Then we heard it. A voice. It wasn't one of us. It came from deeper in the tunnel, echoing off the walls. We all stopped moving. What was that? Chris whispered. Ray frowned. Maybe another explorer? Another voice answered the first. This one sounded angrier. Then came footsteps. Slow and heavy. More than one person. They were coming our way. Ray shut off his flashlight. We all did the same. The tunnel went dark. We stood there, holding our breath. The voices grew louder. They didn't sound friendly. It was hard to tell what they were saying, but the tone was sharp, cold. One of them laughed, a short, ugly sound that made the hairs on my neck stand up. Ray whispered, "Back this way." Quiet. We turned and started moving. Slow at first, then faster. The footsteps behind us got faster too. Then someone shouted, "Hey!" We ran. Our boots splashed through water as we pushed deeper into the tunnels. The flashlights shook in our hands. The walls around us blurred. We turned corners without thinking. We didn't know where we were going, just away. I heard more shouting behind us. They were chasing us. Not cops. Not other explorers. These guys were different. We hit a dead end. The tunnel just stopped. A brick wall sealed it off. "No," Ray muttered, spinning around. We turned back. Flashlights shining. 3 figures appeared from around the bend. They were tall, broad, wearing dark clothes. One had something long and shiny in his hand, a pipe or maybe a crowbar. Another had a chain wrapped around his arm. They stopped when they saw our lights, then started walking faster. "We need to hide," I said. We darted through a side tunnel just before they reached us. I heard one of them yell, "Get them!" This tunnel was smaller. We had to duck to keep moving. I was in front now, breathing hard, heart pounding like a drum. My legs were shaking. My flashlight flickered. "Ray, where are we going?" I asked. He didn't answer. He was right behind me, but I could hear panic in his breath. "There!" Chris shouted. We found another hatch. This one led into a side room, maybe a storage area or an old control station. We piled in and pulled the hatch shut behind us. It was pitch black. We killed the lights and crouched low. Outside, footsteps ran past. Then silence. I didn't breathe. Minutes passed. Ray finally whispered, "They didn't see us come in." "Who the hell are they?" Danny asked. Ray shook his head. "I don't know. But they're not random. They knew this place. They were waiting for something." "Waiting for us?" Chris said. "No," I whispered. "But we found something we weren't supposed to." We stayed there for maybe an hour. None of us said much. Every sound echoed too loudly. I kept my hand on the knife in my pocket. Eventually, Ray turned his flashlight back on, shining it at the far wall. There was another tunnel leading out. "We can't go back the way we came," he said. "We have to go deeper." "No way," Danny said. "That's where they came from." "It's either that," I said, "or wait here and hope they don't come back." We followed Ray. The new tunnel was narrower and smelled worse. We moved slowly, trying not to make noise. Every now and then we heard something, dripping water, maybe a rat, or something else moving in the dark. Then we saw it. A room, bigger than the others. It looked like an old control center. Broken panels, rusted metal, and chairs covered in mold. But that wasn't the scary part. The walls were covered in writing. Not graffiti, something worse. Red paint. Maybe not paint. Symbols. Names. Warnings. One wall had the words, "No exit. No mercy." Chris turned and threw up. Ray stared at the wall, pale as a ghost. "This is some kind of hideout." Danny stepped on something metal and picked it up. A knife. Old, rusty. Blood on the handle. "We have to get out," he said. I nodded. "Keep moving." We left that room and kept going. The tunnels twisted and turned. We passed old ladders leading up to sealed hatches. No way out. Then we heard it again. Footsteps. Behind us. We ran. I don't remember how long. My legs burned. My chest hurt. But we couldn't stop. At one point, we found another tunnel that sloped up. Ray shouted, "This way." We followed it. Then, light. A metal gate. Rusty, but open. Beyond it, a ladder. We climbed fast. One by one. I was last. As I reached the top, I looked down. A face stared up at me from the dark. Pale, scarred, smiling. He didn't chase me, just watched. I slammed the hatch shut. We were in an alley. The sun had set, but streetlights glowed above us. Cars passed by. Horns honked. The city was alive again. We stood there for a long time, breathing hard, shaking. None of us said a word. We just walked away. We never went back to that part of the city. Ray deleted his map. Danny and Chris stopped hanging out with him. I don't blame them. I still think about that night. About the gang in the tunnels. They weren't just some guys hiding out. They lived down there. Owned it. We weren't supposed to see them. And I think they let us go. That's the worst part. Because now they know our faces.